It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Sunday, the 5th of October. I'm Michael Groff. It's a glorious day out there today. Temperatures again below average. We'll have a nice, pleasantly cool night tonight, but then warmer conditions for the week ahead. And yeah, we may not quite be done with those 100-degree temperatures by later this week. Highs in the lower deserts approaching, if not exceeding, the triple digits. Some spots could be approaching record territory. But what we're still focused on is the potential of a high-impact, widespread rain event by next weekend and that following week out there by about 7 to 10 days. And I know that's still a long ways out, but we have new model data to take a look at today. And things are still lining up for that potential of decent rain around here. We could sure use it. What are the chances? Where, when, how much? We'll try to figure it all out as we dive on in just a moment. But before we do that, let's take a look at the Almanac from yesterday. 88 degrees was the afternoon high. Fantastic, especially with that drier air. That morning low of 72, that was at Sky Harbor. Many spots down in the 60s. And of course, this morning, just about everybody was in the 60s, if not mid and upper 50s. Averages for this time of year, 94 for the average high, 71 the average low. Looking outside right now at 11:15 a.m., sunny sky out there. Just 79 degrees at Sky Harbor. Fantastic. Dew points at 34, so it's bone dry. Relative humidity 20%. The air is calm. The barometer 29.79 inches and falling. Checking the satellite out here across the southwest. We put this in motion, that trough that brought in the cooler weather. It's out over the plains now. We are left in the wake of that. Still negative height anomalies over the southwest, and that's going to keep the air mass somewhat cool, relatively speaking, here over most of Arizona. Now, daytime highs are still going to be in the upper 80s to low 90s in the deserts and 60s in the mountains today, but we will see, with high pressure building in from the south and east, temps warming up in coming days. The watch warning map, we've got a winter storm warning on the map there for, looks like right around Cook City, Montana, I believe. And we've got some freeze warnings for parts of Montana, Wyoming. We've got a wind advisory for the upper Midwest there, North Dakota, Minnesota. But otherwise, things are pretty quiet at the moment. The convective outlook for today, a little sliver of a marginal risk for parts of Kansas and Nebraska, places included in that, Lincoln, Omaha, Council Bluffs. Otherwise, again, it's pretty quiet. Now, the tropics, we do have this wave out there over the, moving into the central Atlantic with about a 50% chance of development over the next couple of days and a 70% probability that develops in the next 5 to 7 days into a tropical depression or storm. And where that goes, well, it is possible it could gain some latitude. Is this going to impact the east coast of the United States? We don't know that yet. Is this going to be another one of those systems that goes out to sea, becomes a fish storm? We don't know that yet either, but we have a long time to watch it, so it's not even on the board yet. We're not going to worry about it just at this moment. It's just something to keep an eye on. Of course, we are still in the midst of hurricane season and will remain so through the end of November. Speaking of hurricane season out in the Pacific, hey, Octave has re-intensified, at least briefly, into a Category 1 hurricane, and we have a brand new tropical storm on the board. That's Priscilla. We've been talking about that feature for a while. Octave is going the wrong way. It's moving back to the east. Now, this is eventually going to just run out of gas. It's going to fizzle out in the coming days, but it's kind of an interesting system. It was moving west. It kind of button-hooked and did a reverse and went back around to the east. Fascinating system that is. Then we've got Priscilla. Now, the official track from the National Hurricane Center has this paralleling the coast of Baja, well west of the Baja, and taking a position, again, well to our south and west by later this week. And where it goes from there, nobody knows, but we're not so much concerned as to the exact position of the center of circulation. I mean, yes, we are in a broader sense, because if that center of circulation moved up here, that could mean much more precipitation for us. But what we're really monitoring is the increase in moisture from this system and where the remnants of this are going to end up. And obviously, there's a lot of different thoughts on that. Now, let's just look at the track of this based on modeling. This is the tropical model set, the ATCF set on Priscilla. You got a couple of these that try to bring this northward towards Southern California. The GFS Ensemble has a couple or a few members bringing this up into the southwest, but most of them kind of bring it out west of the Baja and just sort of fizzle it out. And eventually it'll get picked up by a stronger trough in time. And the European is the same story. You've got a couple of outliers that do bring it up here into the southwest. And, obviously we're going to watch that. But for the most part, this is going to sit to the west of the Baja and either kind of drift out to sea or just fizzle out down there. But it's that moisture that we're going to watch in coming days. All right, the precipitation outlook valid through next Sunday morning from the WPC. Rain amounts in Phoenix, not much. Statewide, the heaviest totals across northwest Arizona, where we could see anywhere from 1/10 to a 1/4 inch. Of course, your amount will vary. The key here is right at the end, if not just beyond this period, how much precipitation will occur. Because the timing on the best chances of precipitation right now across Arizona seems to be leaning more toward later next weekend and into that following week. And unfortunately, that puts us kind of out into the fantasy land realm of 7 to 10 days. Now, some models bring in moisture a little sooner than that. Speaking of models, let's just take a look at how things are lining up right now as we check those models right now. Here we go, the GFS. This is the 12Z run. It's valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. This is the upper look at 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet off the ground. Big ridge for the east. There's our trough. Out across the plain states, negative height anomalies continue here over the southwest. And so what it all means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today. Hey, look, early October, we know how it was last year with record-breaking temperatures. Yeah, not today, though. High temperatures, mid-80s to about 90 here in the lower deserts. Should feel good, especially with that drier air. That lower angled sun this time of the year. Once that sun goes down, it cools off very nicely. So it's going to feel pretty decent out there. So that's looking good. And then for tonight, the sky is clear. The air is dry. And look at these overnight low temperatures across the state. You got 30 at Flagstaff, 31 in Window Rock, 61 in Tucson. And generally 30s and 40s in the mountains, mid-50s to mid-60s here in the lower deserts. Looks pretty good. Now let's go to tomorrow. A sunny sky for most of us. High temperatures, a little bit warmer with high pressure building back in. I'd say we'll be in the upper 80s to mid-90s here in the lower deserts. Tuesday, highs mid-90s, maybe upper 90s for the warmest desert spots. And we're going to start to see some mid-level moisture beginning to creep in from the east of all places by Wednesday, as our ridge kind of noses in here. And high temperatures will be in the mid to upper 90s in Phoenix. There might be an isolated thunderstorm over the higher terrain of eastern Arizona. I suppose a high-based storm isn't completely out of the question, but for the most part, the forecast across the state should stay dry during that time. Thursday, a continued subtle increase in moisture will take place. We'll see a few clouds here in Phoenix, but still overall the pattern is dry with an isolated storm possible in the higher terrain of eastern Arizona. High temperatures for us, yeah, with the ridge here, the upper heights at about 588 to maybe 589, 590 decameters perhaps. We could see highs anywhere from 97 to 101 here in the lower deserts, and maybe even tacking on a degree to that on Friday. Partly sunny sky. Now, moisture is slowly increasing each day here. Enough so that by Friday evening, we may have to introduce a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, as now we're starting to see some moisture creeping in from the south and west as well. The blow-off moisture here from Priscilla. And so we're going to watch that, but there's really no obvious triggering mechanism, so it's just kind of moisture that's sitting here. We're going to have to rely on the heat of the day for a few storms. Again, we could see that Friday evening here in Phoenix, just a small chance. But yeah, 98 to 102 on Friday. Yuck. Now, by next Saturday, the moisture will continue to increase. We've got a trough that's sitting over the Pacific Northwest, and where the jet dynamics from the base of this trough will be, that's going to determine how much precipitation there might be, because we have moisture coming in from Priscilla. We've got some dynamic support to the north and west of us. Where all this lines up is going to determine the precipitation chances. High temperatures will be lower, though, because the upper heights are coming down. The ridge is going to weaken a bit. Highs somewhere in the mid-90s, I'd say. We'll lower temps a little bit next Sunday, a week from today. This is the 12th of October. troughing over the Pacific Northwest. The base of that trough extending down towards Southern California and Arizona, and some of the jet dynamics and maybe a short wave or two rotating around the base of that trough could touch off some additional rainfall. The GFS continues with this idea of showing at least some precipitation here across Arizona, including Phoenix. In fact, it's a little bit more bullish than it was yesterday, where it was showing only some widely scattered, very light precip, and today it's more of an organized swath of light to moderate precipitation here next Sunday. And the model consensus today kind of shows the best chances of rain more focused on Sunday and beyond of next weekend and into that following week. So Sunday the 12th, Monday the 13th, Tuesday the 14th, in that kind of range. And that's where we're leaning right now. Speaking of, this is Monday the 13th off the GFS. Our upper trough continues over the Pacific Northwest. This is a fairly anomalous system, by the way, a very cold core system and positively tilted. And the extent of that trough is much further south than we've seen on previous runs. And this would certainly add cooler air aloft and more dynamic support to continue scattered showers and thunderstorms across especially the eastern 2/3 of Arizona, including Phoenix. Temperatures would be down somewhat. I'd say highs are probably in the 80s in this scenario. And we do have at least a good chance of seeing some precipitation. This is the end of the forecast period, Tuesday the 14th. And now we see another little short wave dropping in here. The system kind of bifurcated here. You got one area kind of splitting off and moving into the Rockies, and another moving into Southern California. And again, if this works out, yeah, that looks like a fairly unsettled and cooler weather regime for us. Could be breezy to windy at times with chances of rain continuing. That's one perspective on it. All right. And you can see on the synoptic look, yeah, scattered showers and storms for at least the eastern half of Arizona in that setup, and temperatures would be below average. This is the European AI, and this is next Sunday, the 12th, a week from today. Not too dissimilar to the GFS. The trough is a little bit broader, I suppose, and there's a little short wave coming around, whatever's left of Priscilla perhaps kind of getting caught up there too. And that would set the stage for some fairly widespread rain across Arizona. Remember yesterday the Euro AI had kind of backed off. Now today it's back on board with some pretty impressive rainfall totals. In fact, the 10-day rainfall output from this is for Phoenix is well over an inch and a half almost. So, you know, naturally, this is way out here, okay? We're again talking 7, 8, 9, 10 days out. So we cannot possibly give you any specifics, any details beyond a broad increase in moisture and chances of rain out here, especially next weekend and into the following week. That's how it looks right now. This will change between now and then. Could this event become a complete bust? Absolutely. Could this be another high impact rain event? Absolutely. Whenever we're talking tropical moisture, that's always a possibility. Speaking of, looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS Ensemble, this goes out through the 19th of October. And there you go. The Ensemble mean from the GFS is about an inch. The control member is way up over 2 inches. And you got some individual members here that are kind of up at that realm as well. But look, there's a couple of members on this 31-member ensemble that show 0. So, again, there's a huge model spread, and it's kind of the same deal on the European ensemble. 51 members, you've got models that range from 0 to 4 inches. Ensemble mean is close to an inch. Euro AI, the ensemble mean about 1.75 inches. And you've got, there are members here that show 0. And then there's a lot of red on here. You've got 2 and 3 and 4 inches of rain from a number of models. So big spread, obviously denoting the high level of uncertainty. And this is going to be one of those forecasts where, fortunately, I don't have hair, or else I'd probably be pulling it out. So that's the situation that we have with this right now. And looking at temperatures off the national blend of models, okay. As mentioned, yeah, eating a little crow here because it looks like we're going to see at least 1, maybe 2 more days of 100-degree temperatures, possibly even 3, really, because Wednesday is going to be a close call too. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, close to, if not exceeding 100 degrees. But then next weekend, with the moisture increasing, the clouds increasing, the rain chances coming in, temps headed down, and likely we'll be back in the 80s with those increased probabilities of precipitation. Right now, the national blend of models output for precipitation is up at about an inch over the next 10 days as well. But again, 10 days out, so a lot can happen. All right, speaking of, let's look at the CPC outlook, the Climate Prediction Center outlook for the 6 to 10 day period. And you probably saw this in the thumbnail. This is the temperature output, which is not in the thumbnail, but from that October 10th through 14th period. And if this works out, probably near to above average temperatures are the more favored outcome here, which is interesting given the probability of increased precipitation around here, but that might favor the fact that overnight lows will be warmer than average, even if daytime highs are cooler than average due to clouds and precipitation. Speaking of, this is the precipitation probabilities, and again, we're in the 60 to 70% probability here across south central and southwest Arizona. Phoenix right now on the latest CPC guidance in this period at a 61% probability of above average precipitation, a 33% probability of near average, just a 6% chance for below average precipitation during this October 10th through October 14th period. That's quite significant. You don't see those probabilities jacked up this high this time of the year very often. So the CPC guys are certainly on board thinking that we have a pretty good chance of seeing decent amounts of precipitation around here. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. And should you happen to enjoy these videos, because of course you do, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you're really enjoying what we do here, then by all means, click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube. It's called a super thanks. Make a contribution to us that way, or via PayPal, groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal, or our Venmo. All of that is linked up down in the description below. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion, who is over my shoulder right now, is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out, blogs. As I'm sitting here doing this video, what are you doing right now?
Writing a blog.
She's writing a blog. So Michelle making a guest appearance, and she's been on how many blogs have you written in the last couple of weeks?
Oh, maybe 4, including an article from Marty Craig.
Wow. So we got and there's a guest writer over there too. So there's a lot going on over there on Sweet Child AZ. Videos, of course, everything Michelle related, Kylie related, Adriana related. It is all linked up down in the description below. So check all of that out. This is fun. I like having Michelle in here working while I work. It's a small space. This is literally, if you're wondering, Studio B is quite literally a closet. But we have the space. We have a couple of computers in here. Michelle's working on the Beast, my newest addition to the menagerie of machinery, and we have the big keyboard in here and just all this other stuff. So somehow we're still in here. There might be room for the cat as well. All right. Anyway, check out our streaming station, available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music and have a lot of fun over there. And what else do we do? Oh, check out Dan over at the Courtroom Files YouTube channel, The Courtroom Files on YouTube, and courtroomfiles.com for all your Courtroom Files merch. And so, yes, Dan is just a content-making machine, will continue to be, and join him tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. East, 7 a.m. Pacific for his live show. All the courtroom stuff that you could possibly want each and every day. And of course, a half an hour early if you're a channel member, which I highly encourage you to do. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is amazing. It is so greatly appreciated. We could not do this without you. And even though temperatures are cooler, what am I going to tell you to do? Stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and have yourselves a delightful rest of your Sunday.